decided to, like, after the last monthly wrap up vlog I did, I was like,
I look at you and it's easy to see you are that someone I've been trying to meet. I got your number, won't you pick up the phone?
hey bookish freak, hello and welcome to today's vlog. If you're this is your first time here, my name is Mariam. I do a lot of book videos and other kind of videos. So today I am starting my August monthly wrap-up video right here and now. After the last monthly wrap-up video I did, I was like, when I was doing the wrap-up, I'd started like forgetting some things in the books I read, so I didn't give a really nice and detailed review. And I decided that from that day, if I want to do a monthly wrap-up video, I am going to, like, so I decided like I am going to be doing my wrap up immediately after reading a book. That way I would be able to give you my view, my detailed opinion about that book and all that. So in today's video, I am going to be reviewing this book. If you have watched my August TBR video, you would see that this book was the first book I mentioned in my list of books to be read in the month of August. And I told you that I was already halfway through, like 60% through it that time when I did that video. I posted the video yesterday. If you have not watched the video, please kindly check it out. Thank you. I'm done reading this book. This book is amazing. If you know what the word amazing means, like literally amazing. It is a very, very nice book. Like from the beginning of the book to the end of it, there is no dull moment with this book. I have, like, it's a chunky book, like I told you. It's way over 600 and 500 pages, but like from the beginning of it, as you read, you'll be engaged in the book. It is just super cool and super amazing. It is about a lady called Iris, who happens to be, as you can see, the villain's daughter. Iris is the villain's daughter. She grew up um in a small town, and then her mother decided that they should leave the town at a point in her life, and they left the town. Don't worry about spoilers. I'm not going to give you any spoilers, so don't worry about it. And all these things I'm saying, they are practically things you find at the synopsis of the book. And they left the town, and later on she came back to town because she felt there was a part of her that was missing. Like she felt that there are things she needs to know and find out. And when she went back to the town, my dear, a lot of revolutions and all that. Just that, know that with this book, things are not what they seem to be. Like at the end of the book, the plot twist. When I was reading it, when I was reading it, there were like some hints I saw towards like page 400 plus about a plot twist. But then I was like, no, that is not going to happen, and I was relaxed. But at the end of the day, my dear, a lot of things plot twist happen, and I love the way the book ended. The whole idea about the book is just so nice, how everything turned out and the outcome of everything. It's a nice book from the beginning of the book to the end of it. So if you have not read it, please kindly pick it up and read it. It's not even a new book, it's a 2018 book, I guess, or so. So pick it up and read it. You would not regret it. In fact, I'm even tempted to look out for books by this author because I am so impressed by this. Hey, yo, this book, I don't even know what to say. It is an amazing book. Like it's the first book of the trilogy of the book A Child Called It. It's non-fiction. It's true life story. Like I am still in awe. I'm still in awe of this book. Like I cannot believe this is like a real life story. It's it's a story about the author, how he grew up, how he lived with his abusive mother, abusive alcoholic mother, the abuse he went through, and all that. There's trigger warning if there's a lot of issues about child abuse and all that. If that is triggering to you, don't read it. But aside from that, this book is just out of this world. It's non-fiction, and this is the first book. I just finished it. Like I literally took like a day. Today is 13th, or is it 12th of August, and I started this book like on the 11th, I believe, and I'm done with it. Like I'm reading the second book. I finished it yesterday. I'm already on the second book. Like with the second book, I'm comfortable. It's just so amazing. Like if you've not read this book, just try and get it and read it. It's just so nice. Like it's just so good. And then at the point as I was reading the book, I was like kind of bored somehow because when it got to the middle, because when you read the first chapter, you would have seen like what happened like almost at the end of the book, and then I felt like there was repetition. But of course, he wrote the book in the mindset of a child, like a child going through all those things and writing them. So it is expected. It is expected that you will not get the adult whatever touch. But as I go into the second book, as I'm going deep into it, I'm seeing how he's maturing and all that. And I can't wait to get to the end of the second book and then the third book. I can't wait. It's just so amazing. Like, just picked up and read. Hey guys, what's up? Like, is Charlie wearing this sweatsuit? I've been wearing this for like the past 2 days. I'm not feeling well. I've been having flu, this persistent flu. The weather in just has been so cold. Like, if my voice is crusty, you're going to bear with me. I just finished reading the last 2 books of the A Child Called It series. I just finished reading them and I want to give you a brief review. I had wanted before to be giving you a review of every book I finished reading, but since this is a series, I did a review like the previous clip you saw is a review of the first book, and I thought to wait till I finish reading this one because the emotions were just too much for me. I was like, let me finish reading the third book and then I'll give my review. The second book in the series, the sequel to the first book, A Child Called It, is The Lost Boy. And this boy gave the story of how David was rescued from his abusive and alcoholic mother to into the foster care system, how life in foster care, how he was saved, his relationship with a certain foster care agent, Miss Gold, and the various foster parents and homes he has lived throughout his life in the foster care system. His like the aftermath of, because even after being rescued from his mother, there were a lot of things that happened to him that were like the as a result of his background and his childhood being abused by his mother and all that. There were a lot of things that happened to him, and when you read through this book, you see his struggles, like his struggling to survive, struggling to live in this new world of his, that's the foster care system and everything. It was so nice and emotional. Like, I haven't cried because of a book in a while, but this book literally I teared up all through. From the like beginning of the book, I felt it was a little bit repetitive, like switching from book one to book two. I felt there were some repetitions and all that, and even from the towards the end of this and the beginning of the third book, but it was just, other than that, it was just okay, and this was just a nice book. The first book, I think I don't know if I've rated the first book, but the first book I'm going to rate it like a four star, a solid 4 star. It was nice, it was good. And the second book, because of the repetition I felt and all that, I'm going to rate it like a solid 4 star too. It was just nice. And then the final book is, I feel that is where the whole message of the what motivated him to write this series. I think that is its series. That is where the whole thing is. This is a story of. This is so inspirational. It's motivating. When you read this book, you feel like you can get out of whatever situation. David practically turned his terrific and his tragic and abusive childhood into, he turned it around, he turned it into this positive, I wouldn't say a perfect life, but close to perfect life. The life he built for himself, his son and his wife. It's just so amazing. I loved this book. This the last book. I'm going to give it a 5 star because there's a lot of message in this book. Like, I love this series so much and I did not regret reading it, and it is something that I'm going to recommend to anyone. If you are going through something or you've been through any difficult situation and you are struggling to survive, you are struggling to just pick up this book and read, and I swear you are going to thank me. It's really, really, really amazing. The entire series is just nice, and this is a book that I'm going to read over and over again. Like, I see myself reading this book again. I love this book. While I was reading this book, it's actually, I found some inspiration to, I've always wanted to write a book looking at my life story and all that, and the events, things that happened to me in my life and all. I've always felt that there is a reason why all those things happened to me, a greater reason other than like myself and the whole story and all. And I felt it's something I need to share with the world. Those things happened to me so that I would be an inspiration. I feel in my own little way, I've been doing that. Throughout my work as a lawyer, I've helped women that are from abusive marriage and all that. Throughout my work, I've always used my story to motivate a lot of women that come to me broken because of a broken marriage or an abusive marriage and all that. And I tell them a bit of my story and they feel inspired and they feel like they can have a life outside that abusive marriage. They can actually move on. And I've seen one or two of them, I've helped them through all that, and they are doing great now. So, and when I read this book, I felt there's a higher purpose to all the things I've been through, and I am inspired to start writing my own story. And when I'm standing here, like, I think I am finally at a place where I'm beginning to write something. I'm going to see to that. I'll just write randomly whatever comes to me, and then from there, we'll see what happens. I might end up not publishing it or doing anything with it, but I just feel I should put it down on paper. Like, there's a place in this book where I read something that Dave's teacher told him before when he was battling with speaking because of the abuse he went through. There was a point in his life where he couldn't speak, and the teacher told him that there's a means, or there's a form of, there's a purpose to whatever you do. No, that's not it. She said there are different means of passing your message to people. Everyone has different purpose and means of passing the message. Some do it through speaking and others do it through writing, and she believes this does his through writing, even though he's a speaker and all that. But she said she believes he does it through writing. She even told him this before he found himself out. So I feel I need to pen down things. I'm not a very good advocate. I speak and I command authority, I know, but like, I am very good with writing. So I think it's time for me to begin to write, and I'm going to do that. And after writing and all, then I'll see if it end up getting published, fine. Otherwise, I'll be glad to still take it off my head and put it down on paper. Yeah, so like, this book, it's a solid 5 star. If there's 6 star, I would love to give this book. So it's a solid 5 star. I'm really, really, really glad I read it, and it's a book that, and it's easy to read. It's a book that I can see myself reading it over and over again. So the last book I read in the month of August is this book, Home by Helen Coben. This is a very, very nice book. Really, really nice. I wasn't expecting it to be this cute. It's a thriller kind of mystery vibe and all that. And I tell you, this book, it's about a boy who got two boys that went missing. They were kidnapped, actually, according to the story from the beginning, and they were 6 years old when they got kidnapped, and 10 years after, one of them was allegedly found. And this is the whole story, trying to unravel what happened to them since the kidnap and all that. So it's a really nice story, and I really, can I speak? And I really enjoyed it. Like, if you have not read this book, just pick it up and read it. It's a really nice book. It's a 2020 book, and I rated it, this book, like, I'm going to give it 5 stars. The first book I read in the month of October is like my October read are mostly even non-fiction. I traveled to my sister's house, and when I saw her husband's stack of books, I was like, man, these books, they are so like educative. They are mostly self-help books, self-improvement, psychological. And I was like, no, I'm not going to read my books. I actually traveled with, I think, 6 books or five of my own, but I didn't read them. I just read I just continued with the one I was reading before I traveled. And when I went, I read like 4 of his books or five. I read 5 of his books. And then together with the two I read my own, I think I read 6 books in this month. So I'm going to show you a physical copy of my books, like 2 of them, and then the remaining ones, since I don't have them here because I'm back at home now in Jos, since there is books, I'm going to pop a picture of them on the screen so that you will see them, and I'll give you my rating. So, like, this is the first book I read in the month of October. I actually traveled from home in the first week of October while I was still reading this book, and then I finished it in Kaduna. This book is Woo, and it's a trilogy. I don't know what's the name of the trilogy, but this is the first book in the trilogy, and there are 2 other books, but I didn't enjoy this book at all. The storyline is nice, but it was unnecessarily long. They made it unnecessarily long. It had like over 500 pages, like 500 and almost 600 pages, 506 something pages. And for this storyline, they could have done a half of this book and still made their point. And I felt it's a dystopian young adult book. I felt it was so childish. Like, I don't know, not really childish in a way, but like the storyline was not something for me, something for, I believe, an adult or all that. So I really didn't enjoy this book. But it was a nice story, but like they made it unnecessarily long. So at a point, it was very boring and tiring. I was just reading it because I almost DNF'd it. Like, I almost DNF'd this book, but I was like, I have to finish it and see what the book is all about. So I actually finished it, and I rated it 3 star. But honestly, if I'm even to rate this book, I can rate it like 2.5 star because I didn't see the need for all this length of books and all this length of book. Like, I took time to finish this book and go through it, and there was no need. They could have done this story in like 300 pages or even less than 300 pages, and it would have been a good story, and it wouldn't have been this boring. But like, they dragged it unnecessarily, and it was so tiring and annoying, and I read it, and I finished it, and I don't think I'm going to read book 2 and 3. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to read them. So for the second book I read in the month of August is Ways to Show Your Husband Love. I'm going to pop it on the screen now so that you will see it, by Abu Sufyan Ibn Abubakar. It's less than 100 pages book. It's a really tiny book, but it was really informative. I'm not married, by the way, but it was really a nice book. You can pick the book up and read it, and you would see a lot of things. It's an Islamic guide to ways to show your husband love, things that are permitted in Islam and not. Because most times all these people that don't know Islam wanna be imams, they'll be telling you you're not allowed to do this, you're not allowed to do that in your marriages, and you see that there are certain things that the prophet did to make his marriage interesting and all that, that is actually even provided for in Islam, not just allowed. But we don't do them now simply because we feel it is against our culture or whatever to do certain things. So I like to read things for myself and learn them. That is my own way of practicing my religion. I don't like to hear what people say, because honestly, nowadays there's a thin line between religion and culture. So I'm not about to be following culture in the name of, they will call it religion, one when it is not the religion that actually provided for that. So the book is a really nice book, and I rated it a 4 star. I rated it a 4 star because it was short. I would have expected it to be longer than that for that information, because it was really nice. Well, I really enjoyed it, and I rated it a 4 star. Then the next book I read was Take the Risk by Ben Carson. I'm trying to remember the names of the books off my head because I actually don't have a physical copy of them, like I said earlier. But I'm going to put the picture on the screen and you're going to see. It's Take the Risk by Ben Carson, and it's about like 200 plus pages, almost 300 pages. And you know Ben Carson, he's like a nice author, and his books are just so motivational and nice. And when you read them, you see a lot of stories, true life stories of patients, of their surgeries, of things they went through. In fact, there's this story he gave in the book, like at the beginning of the book, about a very, very popular surgery. I think two conjoined twins, girls, ladies, lawyers, and they were at the age of 29 when they wanted to be separated, and how the surgery went and everything was just so emotional for me when I read it, and it was so nice and informative, and it will motivate you, and like you feel like that move you want to make, just go ahead and move it, and there's no need for you to panic. And then after I rated that book like 3 star or 4 star, I guess. Even if I rate it, I can't remember what I rated on Instagram, but that book is a 4 star. Honestly, it's a really, really nice book. I liked it. But I still like Think Big better than that, so that's why I rated it a 4 star. So after that, I read another book, Learn to Speak in Okay, How to Speak in Public. That's the title of the book. I'm also going to put it on the screen so that you see it. It's also a 200 plus pages book. It's almost 300 pages, and it was really, really a nice book. It was informative. It teach you like how to be confident in yourself, and that's the most important thing you need while speaking in public is having that confidence. And what will boost your confidence, like the eye contact and other techniques, like a lot of take homes you get from that book. You learn a lot of things that will really, really, really help you. And if you're like me, like I'm an introvert 101, I don't like being in the midst of people. I'm a lawyer too, but when I'm in the courtroom, I know I'm working. I don't know how to explain it, but put me in the midst of 5 people in a room, I find it difficult to even speak and order. But that book is really, I'm not saying it's going to change your life and overnight you begin to, but with practice, there are certain things that you see that you with practice, you begin to learn and know how to um, navigate through that stage. And then I rated the book like a 3 star. Yes, I rated it a 3 star. It was really a nice and informative book. And I think I can even give it a 3.5. Honestly, it's just a nice book. Then just that at the end it felt repetitive and all that. I guess that was why I gave it that 3 star. But overall, it's a really nice book and an amazing book. Then after that, I read. Meanwhile, I was flying through those books because I had my timeline. I know that we're going to leave on the 26th of on the 27th or 28th of October. So like I had my timeline and I wanted to sweep and go through them. And I was taking care of my sister's kids at the same time because she left them with me. And I was when I take them to school, I was able to still read those books. So the other book I read is The Psychology of Persuasion, I think. I'll pop it on the screen and you're going to see it. I can't really recall the title. That is, it's all about how to persuade people and make people think your way. I rated the book a 2 star because honestly, what I was expecting in the book, I didn't really get them. It was very, very technical and like really technical and scientific for no reason. It was so difficult for me to get through it, but I was still able to get through it. But I still got some information, but it was not like as simple as I thought it would be. It was not the kind of information I was sorting and looking out for. But overall, it was a good book, and oh, I rated it a 2 or 3 star. But it was a really nice book. If you don't mind technical stuff, you can pick it up and read. But for me, I had to skip some chapters. I learned a lot of things. In fact, I snapped some pages because at the end of each chapter, what I loved with the book was at the end of each chapter, there's a summary. I think I rated it 3 star. At the end of each chapter, there's a summary of the entire chapter. So I got that and I snapped all that, and I'm going to transfer them into a notebook so that I'll have them in case I'm not able to get the book to buy, because I'll still look out for my own copies of all those books and buy, because I felt they are books that over the course of it, they are not kind of books that you just read once. There are books that you find and reach out for over the course of your life just to read them. And oh, they're nice books. So after that, I started reading my other copy of the book that I read for the month, and it's Love in Color by Bolu Babalola. I actually bought this book a while ago, but I've not been able to read it. So I read it in the month of October. It's a really, really nice book. It's a collection of short stories, and like it's super, 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 super amazing. Like, if you have not read this book, please do yourself a favor and pick it up and read. You see this book, you see the thing around your neck. By I'm going to do a video of short story books recommendation, like, because I don't know about you, but short stories, there's a way it hits me, and I'm going to do a video of their recommendations, so just look out for that video. But this book, it's a collection of 13 short stories, and it cuts across Africa. It's a Nigerian author, but she lives in the UK, I believe. Or is it the US? I believe she lives in the UK, but she's a Nigerian. And the story is not just about, it's not just about Nigerian stories. It's cut across the entire Africa. There's a story based off of characters from Ghana. There's a story based off of characters from South Africa and the rest. Like, a lot of really, really cool stories, and you see the intense, like, intensity of love. Love is just a beautiful thing. My God, I love love. It's just so amazing. Like, it's a very, very nice book. And the author, in the beginning of the book, she said she's a lover. To say that she's a lover of love is an understatement or something like that. It's really, really an amazing book. So I urge you to pick it and read it. It's a collection of 13 short stories. Like, you fly through this book, I'm telling you, you hardly keep it, because once you start reading a story, you just want to finish it. There's no dull moment. So pick it up and read. It's really a nice book. So in total, I rated this book a 5-star. So in total, I read 6 books for the month of October, and this is the we have come to the end of this wrap up videos for the month of August, September and October. I hope you like this video. Comment, share and subscribe, and I hope you come back for turn on your notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I post a video. Do all that YouTube stuff that people like to do, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and comment below the book you're currently reading. I love you guys. Mwah.